Hey guys, how's it going? Comparing here. So I've come back, I've played some Hearthstone, I did the new Naxx content that I missed, which was week 2 and 3, and I did this on my North American account, which has just about all the cards, and I could approach it all the different ways, and I did it on my Europe account, which has like nothing, absolutely nothing. And obviously it was a little bit harder on the Europe account, but not so much. It turns out experience, knowing what kind of cards the opponent has and how they'll play them, actually plays a bigger part than the actual cards that you have. So you can complete the Naxx content even on heroic mode if you have absolutely nothing. Yeah, it might take some time, you might have to get lucky with your shitty deck, but all in all, eventually you'll get it going just like I did, and it is a blast. It's a lot of fun. I know I don't have quite as much experience with the new cards as other players because I've been gone these last few weeks, but I feel that because I haven't really played that much Constructed, I'll have my own individual opinion, and maybe it has some weight as opposed to others. And I have to say that the Naxx content is pretty damn good. More than anything, I enjoyed the fact that when new creatures are already in play as the game starts, it changes the game so dramatically, and I really think that could be explored much further than what we've seen so far. Also, the new class challenges are really cool, specifically the Hunter class challenge, where you play with the new card that I'll go over. And that's pretty much what I'll go over today. Just go over all the new cards that I missed, kind of my evaluation now that I've used them, and now that they're in play, what kind of stuff you can do with them, and you can compare that to the original Naxx opinion that I had some time ago. So let's hit it up. So we got the Hunter class card, Web Spinner. This card's death rattle literally puts out any beast. I've seen Naxxramas, I've seen more Web Spinners, I've seen garbage like Angry Chicken, which I guess is sometimes not garbage, not always garbage. But overall, this card is okay. It's pretty poor because it's a 1/1. It's pretty poor because it can get silenced and get pinged and whatever. But, it does give you a random beast card. Sometimes that's fine. And, sometimes that random beast is really good. And it's pretty much like a paladin hero power. So, on some levels, it's okay. I don't expect this card to ever be played in real constructed matches. But in Arena, when you're going through, there's certainly shittier commons out there, so I do see this being played a little bit into that. We also saw the introduction of the new Mage card, Duplicate. Duplicate has had some ridiculous plays in Arena. When mages are already winning, I've seen turn 9 Argent Commander Duplicate, and he's just going face, so at that point you're just pretty much screwed if you don't have taunts. And in the one game where I encountered this, well, I didn't have taunts, and I did lose. So Duplicate does have its shine, but on the other hand, even in Arena, people play a lot of polymorphs, they play a lot of hexes, so this card can be really, really worthless. And in Constructed, I don't see it being played that well, that much, except for maybe some really heavy secret decks that involve other cards, which we're going to review in this session as well. Overall, good, possibly amazing turn in the game kind of card, but I think it's not really that good. I think overall it's below average in most cases, and that has its ups and downs. We have the new Shaman card, Reincarnate. We've seen Crusher Shamans do pretty well with this card, and I think this card is going to be a little bit better once we see a lot more of the death rattle stuff come into play and start being played. So haven't seen too many crazy things with this card, but it can be okay. It can also be okay as a kill card, like if an opponent has a big creature and he kingses it, you can kill off the creature, kind of like silencing the king's effect. So it has a few extra uses that I didn't quite imagine originally, but overall this card is good. It has some ridiculous combos, but I haven't seen any of them come true yet. So it may be another one of those cards like the Mage where it's around the average category, just like Duplicate, I mean, and it may see some really good moments, but it may be a dead card in others. The Warlock card, Void Caller, I said this card would originally be pretty poor, but I made a deck with it, and it's actually the one that you see there, garbage. And it turns out this card is pretty fucking nuts. In the right circumstance, it is game-winning, and in less favorable circumstances, it's okay. Like, I mean, you get a Voidwalker. It's 4 mana for a 3/4 and a Voidwalker. So its mana efficiency is good, and when it comes to Warlock cards, mana efficiency is really all you're looking for. So this card is great. And I don't think we'll see this quite in most Zoo decks, but in the more mid-range decks that might come about, I think we'll start seeing this card. Some people are playing demon decks, I've heard, and I have, you know, kind of experimented with that. It does work very well, and in Arena, I also expect it to be very, very powerful. So great card from the Warlock. As far as the neutrals, we got Unstable Ghoul is a new one. Unstable Ghoul is okay. You know, some people thought it'd put a stop to Zoo decks, but haven't really seen that. Haven't really seen this card being too powerful yet. Dancing Swords, I still haven't played with this card too much. Ideally, it's a pretty good card in Zoo, and it's a pretty good card in the mill type of decks. So possibly, you know, my opinion is just the same as it was then. I haven't really seen it played. I haven't given it a chance to play it. It looks okay in some circumstances and pretty poor in others. So Deathlord, I thought this card would absolutely suck, and it turns out it's not really that bad. Some people are playing it in high-ranked play. It's actually surprisingly good against some of the heroic Naxx bosses because, well, you know, they don't have many creatures or many relevant creatures in their decks. It certainly does very well against Zoo, especially if you can buff it or heal it as a priest, something like that. So yeah, really, really good stuff. It is a rare, and in Arena people play big creatures, so in Arena I don't see this card being played much or at all, but, you know, cards have their spots, and this has some, and I thought it would have none. So Deathlord's a little bit better than I thought it would originally be. Stoneskull Gargoyle is pretty much in the same boat as Dancing Swords. I haven't really seen it played. I haven't really seen it be effective. It doesn't look that good. It has some really big combo opportunities, but again, we're talking some really situational stuff. I think Stoneskull Gargoyle is a pretty poor card with, you know, some hilarious stuff that may happen with it. So if you're playing Arena, if you're having a lot of buffs, this might be better than, you know, a few other commons, but overall quite poor. Baron Rivendare, haven't really seen the big death rattles yet, but, you know, this has some combos with Crusher Shaman, has some combos with a few other cards, so, you know, maybe this card will end up being pretty good, but right now I think it's at best mid-range. We have Loatheb. Loatheb was thought to be the best card being released with Naxx, and I think so far people can agree with that. Other cards have turned out to be better than people had originally thought, but Loatheb I think is a staple to any constructed deck, and it's just, you know, ridiculous for a 5-drop. So really good stuff there. There's not really much else to say about the card. You guys know how strong it is. Sledge Belcher, I thought was going to be pretty good because, you know, I compared it to like Fen Creeper, which is almost good for 5, which is a 3/6 taunt for 5 mana. This is a 3/5 taunt for 5 mana, and 5 health is pretty important because it survives Flame Strike, and when it dies, summons a 1/2. So it's 4/7 power for 5 with taunt, which is very, very strong. It is silenceable, but 3/5 is still pretty decent. I think this card is really, really top tier. I have played it in constructed with some success, and I think in Arena I would pick it quite highly as well. Spectral Knight is, I think, just as ridiculous as other people had thought. You know, 4/6 Fairy Dragon for 5, super strong in Arena. In constructed, I haven't seen it too much, but that's probably because I just haven't played enough. This card looks pretty insane if you can get a few buffs on it through means of other creatures, especially if you're playing against spell-heavy decks like druids and that kind of stuff. So overall, really good stuff. It's been quite a blast. I'm really looking forward to the cards that are going to be added, I think, tonight or tomorrow, and I really wanted to get this review out today because, you know, my opinion will be different as these cards mix with the others, as the others are introduced, and as the new content rolls in. So I'll update you guys with what happens with the next block, as I was hoping to do with each week, but with this one you guys get a duo, and hopefully, you know, give you guys some idea where these cards are, experiment with them. Anytime there's new additions, anytime there's new cards, you know, experimentation is really the top really the most important thing. So have fun with them, play around, experiment, just like I do, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.